danger, what would you say? Oh, there's definitely the criminal element, which seems immediately relevant.
I would say it's the same as with every powerful.
Welcome to Dream Richer. We have all heard that Bitcoin is the one true safe haven asset to invest in. Millionaires from Raoul Pal to playboy billionaires like Michael Saylor have all made claims as to how it could eventually hit $1 million. As the saying goes, however, nothing is perfect. Or at least, in the world we live in, something can aspire to be perfect, but it's near impossible to reach perfection. This is also the case with Bitcoin. Despite the well-known advantages of Bitcoin, it comes with certain disadvantages that cannot be turned down. One of such claims is Bitcoin's use to aid terrorist acquisitions, all the while helping them stay anonymous because of how decentralized the protocol is. Often, terrorist organizations have centralized decision-making and decentralized execution. This means any innovation in the grand strategy of a terrorist group is designed by the top brass of the leadership. In May 2020, the Philippine Institute for Peace, Violence, and Terrorism Research reported the first ever cryptocurrency transaction made by the radical Islamic State-backed local hub in the conflict-ridden Mindanao region of South Philippines. Do you think this could take us one step ahead towards a more regulated crypto? By the end of this video, Jordan Peterson unravels this controversial dark side of Bitcoin. If you find the video helpful, then don't forget to subscribe. Let's get right into it.
You detail how the religious traditions, particularly Christianity in our case, have informed the legal system. And one of the very special ways that it's done so is that it sanctifies the sovereignty of the individual, even if that individual has obviously committed a crime. They are given the right of due process. They are presumed innocent until proven guilty. And this is a technology that fundamentally sanctifies the sovereignty of every individual. And what they choose to do with that sovereignty is their choice. Yes,
right,
as a
but
society,
you're also
account.
making a case, all of you, that the very act of Bitcoin sanctifying the sovereignty of the individual is actually tilting individuals towards doing something good rather than something bad. That it's not just neutral, as Gigi was laying it out, that there's an intrinsic ethic to Bitcoin that is more likely to tilt it in a positive direction, which would be a more powerful rejoinder to the Bitcoin equals criminality.
Free speech is paramount, but it's also dangerous, but it is good. And we would be saying that Bitcoin is free speech money, and along the same lines, it is very powerful and it can be dangerous, but it is also good. So that the net benefit outweighs everything else.
It's undeniable that terrorists will experiment with cryptocurrency to rejuvenate their activities. Hence, leaving crypto outside the purview of anti-terrorism financing frameworks may prove costly. Economists argue that the disadvantages of Bitcoin are not only limited to asset misuse by terrorists. As skeptics argue, Bitcoin is not scarce to begin with, despite many saying that it's capped at 21 million coins. This is because Bitcoin is only as scarce as its programming dictates, whereas physical metals such as gold and silver are limited to what can be mined from the earth. Hence, it's not out of the question that programmers with overwhelming community support could choose to increase Bitcoin's token limit at some point in the future. Thus, Bitcoin offers the perception of scarcity without actually being scarce. If this argument is true, then Bitcoin could prove to be a mere overblown asset bubble.
I would love to jump in on that because I have written about that extensively, and I think what you said is exactly right, that Bitcoin is a map of value, so to speak. And what's so interesting about Bitcoin is that Bitcoin is both the map and the territory. And as I've said before, in the informational realm, we cannot link, usually, we cannot link the map to the territory. You cannot do it. Like if you have something in the real world, writing something down about it, you will always have to trust the person that wrote it down. And what's so ingenious in the world of Bitcoin is Bitcoin uses the only thing you can do with information, which is to transform it, to anchor it to the real world. So this is what proof of work does. That's what the energy expenditure is for. And the energy is used for various things. So it's used to secure the system. It's used to distribute new coins. It's used to make sure that the history becomes incorruptible. So it also secures the past. So it does a couple of things. It also makes sure, like, it even decentralizes time itself, which sounds kind of weird, but it's very hard to keep a decentralized system synchronous because of relativity and other effects. So, and society in general,
that's the question.
Society in general asks this question about all kinds of things, like, are cars worth it? Are smartphones worth it? Is the internet worth it? All these things, they take up a lot of energy, and Bitcoiners argue that Bitcoin is definitely worth it for this, for the sound money aspect alone.
Musk is determining by fiat that it isn't.
Well, I mean,
instead of letting the market decide,
it's very hard to decipher what Musk meant with his recent comments, because Tesla is still holding a lot of Bitcoin on their balance sheet. I think it's about $2 billion worth in Bitcoin, and they don't intend to sell any. And so, it's a political game to
claim. Why do you believe that?
Bitcoin is pure information. It is pure information, and also the system that is running it, like the asset itself, is pure information. I can store 12 words in my head, and I have Bitcoin in my head, literally. So it is very useful in that regard. That's what makes it what makes it virtually resistant to nobody can take it away from you. Like, if you secure it properly, Bitcoin has certain properties that allows you to make sure that you and only you can spend the Bitcoin. And on the system side of things, the Bitcoin network itself,
it's clear from Jordan Peterson's discussion that Bitcoin has many possible downsides. One of these is Bitcoin's use case in fraudulent transactions, which cannot be recovered. For instance, novice Bitcoin investors may not understand the need to store their tokens in a digital wallet, thereby leaving them susceptible to theft by hackers. Additionally, it's been hypothesized by numerous blogs and publications that North Korea has turned to Bitcoin mining and theft to funnel money into its isolated economy. Bitcoin is commonly viewed as the currency of choice for criminal organizations. Most of these downsides can be attributed to the lack of regulation within Bitcoin's protocol. Though, this lack of regulation is actually a selling point for today's crypto investors, given that it provides some degree of anonymity. However, it's bad news if something ever goes wrong, because the majority of cryptocurrency trading and transactions occur outside the borders of the United States. Hence, the Securities and Exchange Commission is very limited in what it can do if your digital tokens are ever stolen. To learn more about the latest crypto news, watch these videos here.